do it? Is it playing? I don't know. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I thought it might be good to start with just following up from the middle of year data dive that we did and go from there.
Okay.
So we talked about these, possibly focusing on these students.
Yes.
Word count and maze, or with all we said, but trying to get these students to be green or blue,
Absolutely.
ideally, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I was able to look at ALO and just looked at some of the data, right? So we have, Nicholas, let's see. It was, I noticed that accuracy was pretty good with all of them. They had high accuracy. So the goal by the end of the year is 97, and we have 97, 98, 96, 98. Yeah. So accuracy is pretty good. So it's more really about word count, would you say?
Their fluency.
Or their fluency.
Yeah.
So working on fluency.
Okay.
And then, not days, maze.
Yes, and they changed
right?
the name.
Yeah. Just seemed like, he was the closest there, right? And these guys were just, they kind of did well. They only didn't miss any, missed one, missed two, but just very slow, I would say. Right?
Progress monitoring with them and helping them, become more accustomed to how the test, the structure of the test, and how it's taken will hopefully help a little bit with them too. Because, I feel like with their fluency, they you always have to sneeze, right? And it doesn't always work. But with their fluency, he should be getting through a little more than 3 correct. It says you missed. It says right here you missed.
He did 4 words and he missed 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he only did 4. Oh, I thought this said only 4 words missed. But no, I see that one now. Missed 1. Yeah. So that seems on the slower end for him to read. With the amount of words correct he did during the dwarf.
Yeah. So working on that maze practice and the fluency. Is that what you
definitely is definitely a good thing to focus on in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then I know that we also talked about pacing for the ELA block. Yeah. That it's a challenge to fit in the small groups and everything that you need to fit in. How are you feeling about that?
So I'm sure once we get into the what you observed in the lesson, it's still something that struggles for me. But we talked about fitting in groups in that morning spot, and I still want to do that. I'm trying to get a little better into doing that, trying to work into that. So I feel like it can be done. I feel like I just need to make sure I keep things moving. But yes, I feel like that's still something that needs to be accounted for. We can talk more specifically. I think we're going to talk more specifically about that as we continue.
Yeah. So I can we can go through. So I have just some kind of guiding questions and stuff that can help us think about what might be the best to focus on. So
okay, sure.
Obviously what's going to work for you, and it could be the small groups, and then focusing on those students that we talked about, and how you might be able to do that within ELA, or there might be a different focus area that you are wanting support with. So we can think about that.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. So I did come in and observe the other day. I know we had that, we had the Thunderbird tour in the middle.
Right,
but,
sorry about that.
So what, so it maybe wasn't typical?
No, it wasn't. And that's part of it. Go ahead, I'm sorry. What were you
No, I want to know how
I felt about
how you feel
awesome. Yeah,
about it.
For sure. So you observed us doing some whole group reading. You know, we read the story from the interbeing module.
Yep.
About I forget
The nose.
Yes,
the nose
noses,
award.
the nose award. It's a fun
It's
story.
a cute story, yeah.
Yes, very fun. So I felt like it went well. I felt like most of the kids were engaged. There were a few that were a little squirrely and have trouble focusing. But I felt like for the most part they were engaged. I felt like I set a purpose. You know, we ask and answer questions about what we're reading and how it helps with our comprehension strategies. That was our objective. I felt like I had good opportunities. It was a classic direct instruction lesson, right? We all read together. We all asked a question together. Then I had them ask with friends, and then I had them try to ask another question by themselves. So I had them try all three things, you know, that gradual release. We all do it together, then you do it with a small group, and then you do it by themselves. I felt like that worked with lots of them. There were a few that needed some more scaffolding, some more support that I tried to address. I tried to help with my ELLs by, giving them some verbal and visual cues too, like some pointing and gestures and things. But obviously it helps that I speak the language, and I speak Spanish also, but I tried to help them, bridge that to English a little bit. Some of them struggled with that, some of them did well. So I guess in generally, to sum it up, I feel like for most of the class, it went well. I still don't feel like the pacing is all quite there. I feel like it felt like it took a long time. But I have to tell myself too, I'm trying to be patient with myself, that I have to ask myself, why was it slower? And I feel like it was slower because we were stopping to discuss and ask questions. And so it wasn't like it was slower because, and maybe you saw it differently, and if you did, I totally am fine with the feedback. But I feel like it was slower because we were stopping to focus on the content. It wasn't slower because I was having to do lots of redirects and lots of classroom management. At least that was my take on it. Now that being said, there could be maybe I could be more focused and there's ways I can speed up by being more focused and not what's the word I'm trying to say, not remaining too much in one spot, not staying too long in one section or doing this. We could just move quickly, keep it quick. I think something I've been trying to do, and I think you were there when I did this, was I was trying to use a timer.
Yes,
I was using a timer to try and keep myself okay, because sometimes I lose track of time. I don't have that timer there.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
And so to keep it more, and that's something I've been trying to work on.
Yeah.
So I still am not there. I still don't feel like it's going as quick as I want it to, but I would love some feedback. What are your thoughts? If you feel like, no, I feel like your pacing is good, love to hear that, or not. Either way. But other than that, I feel like that was good, and I feel like I want more support for those students who are still lower. I feel like I'm getting the middle, that 80% of students who are right there, but the students who are, and I just said 80%, but it's probably lower than that. But most of the students, I'm catering to them, but the students who are lower, I wonder if I'm not giving them enough support.
Okay.
I just spoke a whole bunch.
Awesome. So no, that's great. That's great. So I'm hearing that you said you liked using the timer. That really helps you kind of focus, and then the objective. And I really noticed that you kept coming back to that objective, which I loved. It was just, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Because that helps to
absolutely, and it helps
focus you and the students.
This
right?
is what we're working on. This is,
yeah. So I did notice that, and then I'm hearing you say that really you would like more support with your lower students and your ELLs. Is that correct?
Yeah, and not just the ELLs. I mean, yes, definitely
Yeah.
because they're learning English. Reading is tougher for them. Many of them, just because I read and speak and write in Spanish too, I can tell that they have a good grasp of literacy. Like they can read in Spanish, they can speak in Spanish, they can write, some of them in Spanish. You know, these are some of these students who are new they're coming from other countries. They come with some literacy knowledge, which is actually great. Studies have shown that if you learn how to read and write in your native language, then that can help
Definitely.
with a second language. Absolutely.
Okay.
So yes, so yeah, I do. So some support there, but also just with students in general that are still struggling with those basic reading,
the lower
those foundational
students.
reading skills.
Yeah. So lower students and pacing.
Yes, and I don't feel like this was an issue, but if there was any issues, like glaring issues of people being off task, I'm always open to hearing that too. So
Okay. Well, I think that pacing, doing that, the perky pace, that helps with engagement
people
too,
keeping
right?
engaged.
So
Absolutely.
they kind of go together.
Yes,
And
100%.
I think in general, the kids were on task. I did make some notes on, sometimes there were kids that just had their heads on their desks, or they were drawing and not reading. But it was, look, I've only got there's a few, so
Okay.
it's not it wasn't the majority of the class, but that is something that
No, for sure,
could
it's something
maybe
to account for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this off for a minute.